Today we are talking about the Social Security Death Index, what you should know, where you can find it, and in some cases where you can find it for free, and really why you should be using it for your genealogy. If this is your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Connie Knox. I am a lifelong genealogist here to help you go further, faster, and factually with your family research. Now make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notified each time I upload a video. You should know there is a newsletter, a Facebook page, and a website with a blog at genealogytv.org. All right, let's jump into it. Okay, so we're here today. We're going to talk about the Social Security Death Index. And if you're new to genealogy especially, you definitely want to be aware of the Social Security Death Index. For some of you, this is kind of a no-brainer. You've been here before. But there's some little nuances that I want to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of run through an exercise with my great-grandmother here, Francisca Emily Cornelia Jensen, who later became Frances Johnson, who then married, become Frances Madsen. So when she died, she was Frances Madsen. So we're going to do a little research using the Social Security Death Index. And just so you'll know, the Social Security Death Index is wildly helpful to help make connections either between children and parents, or sometimes it gives you more information about where they were born, etc. You'll learn more here in just a moment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to Ancestry's card catalog just for the sake of demonstration purpose to give you some quick background. And what I'm talking about here is when you go to the card catalog at Ancestry, and you can research some of this on some of the other services, but I'm showing you on Ancestry because they have both sets of records here. So here we have the Social Security Applications and Claims Index, 1936 to 2007, and the Social Security Death Index, 1935 to 2014. So the Social Security Death Index was actually established in 1962. So as you can see, some of the records go back to as early as 1936 in one case, and 1935 in another. But it really wasn't established until 1962. The difference between the two sets of records is this is one that was established first, the Social Security Death Index, 1935 to 2014, and then later on the Social Security Applications and Claims Index came along, and it kind of takes off where the other leaves off. So it has more information. It has information specifically about their full name, social security number, the date and place of birth, citizenship information, the sex, the father's name, the mother's maiden name, and sometimes race and ethnic description. So this other set of records is really a good set of records to also be looking at. Now, in my case, when I am looking at my great-grandmother here, Frances, we're going to do some research on her, and I'm going to show you how we do that on Ancestry. But take note that she was born in 1880 in Denmark, okay? And she died in 1972. That's really all we need to do this research, other than her name, as known at death, was Frances Madsen. So we're going to do some research on that here in just a moment. But do know that you can get to the Social Security Death Index on Family Search for free. Okay, so you do not have to have a subscription to Ancestry. And it is also available, I believe it's on Genealogy Bank. I'm not clear on whether you have to have a subscription to that or not. I believe it is free on Genealogy Bank, but I may be wrong. So we're gonna jump back over to the card catalog, and I'm going to show you how I got to this point, and it's really simple. What you do is you go to the search tab at the top, and you go to card catalog, and all you have to do is go into the keyword and hit SSDI for Social Security Death Index and hit return, and these are the two record sets that you come up with. Now, I suggest that you search both sets of records, but I usually start with the Social Security Death Index records first, and I'm going to type Frances Madsen. Now remember, she was born in 1880 and she died in 1972. I have one record that shows up. She was in Long Beach. I know this is correct. So if I view the record, this is the information I get. Now, we're going to take note of the last 4 digits of this social security number, which is 3261. Okay? It says she was born in 1880. The date of issue was 1966 in California. And that's when she got her social security number. And her last residence was in Long Beach, and the date of death was 1972. So at this point, I would want to save it to someone in my tree. And I'm going to type Francisca because it didn't pop up with Frances, because Frances Madsen was really an alternate name. Francisca, I think it is. There she is. I'm going to attach it. Okay. And now it's given me the opportunity to save this information to my tree. Okay. Now we're going to go back to the card catalog and pick up that other record. We're going to go SSDI. And we're back to this set of records. Now we just found her in this set. Now we're going to look for her in this set. And again, we're going to type Frances Madsen. And she was born in 1880 in Denmark. And she died in 1972. And that's all I need. Search. And there she is. Now notice that the spelling of the name is kind of goofy. That's because it started to put out her maiden name of Johnson. And this is where I had corrected it. These brackets, I had corrected it a while back. But her father's name is now listed here as Lawrence Johnson. Her mother's name is Christine Beck. And if you'll notice, the last 4 digits of the social security number is 3261. That matches the other record that we found. So I'm going to save this one again to someone in my tree. Francisca. I'm going to attach it. It's giving me choices as to whether I want to add the parents in here with this record. At this time, I will not, because he is already in there. His name is spelled slightly different. It's looking like a new person, but it's not. So before I would actually click on that and add him into my tree as a new person, I am not going to do that because I don't want to have duplicate people in my tree. I'm going to hit, because of the rest of this information matches what I already have. There's really not a lot different. This just says DA, which is kind of short for Denmark. But this information was already in my tree. Okay, so now that I have saved that information to the tree, you'll see it in the sources here as I scroll all the way down. You see that the Social Security Applications and Claims Index is here, and the Social Security Death Index is here. It's actually in here twice because I had already imported it once. But when you click on it too, it'll also show you the associated facts that go along with that. Okay, and it shows her linked to her parents here, and it shows she's linked to her birthplace. So I'm going to unclick that. One of the things that I wanted to show you about this was, if you go back to the original search window for the Social Security Applications and Claims Index, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can learn a little bit more about it. But also, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, now that we have her information, there is a link here to request the more information. So if you want to get more information from the Social Security Administration from that index, right? It's just an index. It's not all the information. You can do that by going over here to the online request form. There is a link right here at Ancestry at the bottom of that page, and you can click through to that. It takes you over to the Social Security Office website. You have to, at the very top of the screen, request the form, fill it out, pay a fee, and hopefully you'll get some more information about your ancestors. So one last thing I just wanted to say is that when you are researching in general, anytime you're researching, you always want to dig to the original source, and that's what we're doing here by clicking through that link on Ancestry to get to this page that you see here. This is the Freedom of Information Act page. This is where that link takes you, and to start your request, you click on create a request and hit begin and go through the process there. But my whole point here is that you always want to dig for the final original information. You want to get as close to the source as you can and not just an index online. Did you learn something new? If so, let me know in the comment sections below. I'd love to know what your takeaway was in this video. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notified each time I upload a video. And, you know, donations are happily accepted at paypal.me/Constance Knox, or you can become a patron of Genealogy TV at patreon.com/Genealogy TV. New videos are on the screen for you now. It is time for you to go find your ancestors. So until next time, keep on climbing your family tree.